Obsidian is highly customizable thanks to its plug-in architecture. Developers are able to add useful features and create beautiful custom themes. Would you like to know how to add your own custom theming? In this video, I'll show you how easy it is to add your own custom style sheets. I'll cover how to access Obsidian's developer tools, find HTML element selectors, and write CSS or styling code. We'll then flex these skills to create a slick, multi-column dashboard as a real-world example. I built this Notion-like dashboard in a previous video. Something that Notion allows you to do that Obsidian doesn't out of the box is add columns. I want this active project section and this holding tank section to be side by side instead of stacked on top of each other. So that's where our custom CSS is going to come into play. In order to be able to add a custom style sheet, we have to open up our vault inside of a code editor. The code editor I'll be using is called Visual Studio Code. You can get it for free. You can either download it or you can use it directly in your browser. Once you've got your code editor, you'll want to open your Obsidian vault. Go ahead and open, and I'm going to be using this Notion dashboard final vault. Open that up, and let's make it a little bigger. We have all the files that are included in this vault here on the side. The folder that we're going to be working in is this .obsidian folder. Open that up. It's got a couple of folders and a few JSON files. What we're going to do is I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to say new folder. I'm going to call this folder snippets. And then inside of the snippets folder, I'm going to create a new file and we're going to call this columns.css. That is our style sheet that we're going to be using to customize our vault and adding the columns that we can have on our dashboard. In order for Obsidian to know that we're going to be using a custom style sheet, we have to turn it on. So we're going to do that by going over to the settings, and we're going to go to appearance and scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to see CSS snippets. And we can see there's our columns.css file being recognized here. We want to toggle that on. Our style sheet is now available, and any changes that we make in there will reflect inside of our vault. The next step is to figure out what elements we need to target with our CSS. This active projects section is an HTML element, and it has different attributes on it that we can use to tell the CSS how to style it. In order for us to be able to identify those elements, we need to open up Obsidian's developer tools. We do this by going up to View, Toggle Developer Tools. And that will open up our developer tools over here on the right. You do have the option here of making it so that it's not attached to your window if you want it to be in a separate window, and you can change it to be on the left, or you can put it on the bottom. I'm going to keep it over here on the right. So what this is showing us over here is all the code, HTML code, that makes up what we're seeing over here on the left. If I click on this app container, we can click on these elements and it will highlight what that element is over on the left. Now, in order to be able to find this particular section, I'm going to have to drill down quite far. Doing it this way is going to take us way too long, trying to drill down and figure out what element this is that we want to target. Luckily, there's a tool that allows us to be able to just click on this and show the code for it over here in our developer tools. I can just click on this little icon right up here. It's a little dotted line with an arrow. I click on that and then I go over here, and as I hover over elements, it highlights them. So I want to click on this element here, and now I've identified over here on the right in the code this particular element. That allows me to be able to see these things, this data callout metadata, data callout fold, and the class. These are the attributes that I need in order to be able to target this element with CSS. So now that I've identified this element, I want to play around a little bit with the CSS just to make sure that I have targeted the right element and that that style sheet that I told it to load is actually being loaded into our vault. So some things that I need to make note of here. The element type of this is a div, and this data callout attribute is what I want to use to identify this particular element. So the data callout is check, and then it also has a class of callout. I'm going to use that as well. And over here, I'm going to type div, and then I'm going to say data callout equals check, and then I'm going to put a dot callout. The dot is how we indicate that we're targeting a class. If we hover over this, we can see this is what it's going to target. It's going to target a div with a data callout equaling check, and the class is going to have callout. This should, when we add some CSS code to this, this should update this particular element. So I am going to just give it a background color of orange. That should indicate to us that this is working. So let's go back over to Obsidian. And as you can see, we now have this really bright orangey color. Doesn't look very great, but it tells us that we have in fact targeted the right element, and the style sheet that we're doing this CSS code in is active. We are ready now to start working on creating columns in our dashboard here. And I haven't done a whole lot to this vault yet, but you can already see the potential power that comes from knowing how to write and manipulate the code. I've been a software developer for the last 13 years. Despite how long I've been a developer, there's still a lot of things that I don't know, which is why I've been using today's sponsor, Brilliant, to help sharpen my development skills. Brilliant helps you get smarter every day with thousands of interactive lessons in math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI. Brilliant's lessons aren't just passive video lectures. They're hands-on, interactive experiences that help you put the skills you're learning into practice right away. The lessons perfectly build on one another, helping you solidify your knowledge of each concept before moving on to the next. Brilliant helps you build a habit of daily learning. Instead of mindlessly and endlessly scrolling on social media, spend a few minutes each day feeding your brain something new. If you'd like to learn to think more like a programmer, Brilliant's newly updated programming courses will help you break down complex problems into manageable chunks of code and teach you how to apply them in real-world situations. You can also get great foundational knowledge in related subjects such as math, science, data, and AI. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/creative-labs or scan the QR code on screen. Or you can click on the link in the description below. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Thank you so much to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Getting back to adding columns to our dashboard here, we're going to need to create some sort of containing element that we can apply our columns CSS to. I can't just target all the callouts that have the check data attribute, because as of right now, if I were to add another check callout here, let's do that real fast, it's going to have that orange background applied to it. So I need to be able to identify a specific container for our columns. So I'm going to get rid of this extra check, and I'm going to go up above our projects, and I'm going to create a custom callout. What I'm going to call it is columns, and then we're just going to title it columns. We're actually going to remove the title, so it doesn't really matter what we call it. So inside this custom callout, I'm going to be adding these other two callouts. Really quickly, I'm going to take off that orange background. It's really hard to look at. All right, so I just went ahead and deleted that from our style sheet, so now we're back to what it looks like normally. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the code for this. Cut. I'm going to go up into my custom callout and paste it. I need to make sure that this callout has two of these greater than signs here. So I'm going to go and make sure that every line has those. So this next line, I'm actually going to delete that extra greater than symbol because I want there to be a line in between the callouts. So I'm going to delete that, and then I have to go up here and hit enter again and delete that so that I can get that extra line. Otherwise, it will just end the callout. So let me grab the code for this one, and for the sake of this, I'm going to take off this minus so that it doesn't auto collapse. So I want our columns to both be visible at all times. So let me grab the code for this, cut, go back up here and paste it in. and make sure each of these lines have an extra greater than symbol. So taking a look at what it renders, we now have our two callouts inside of this containing callout. Let's go ahead and use our developer tools to target this and see what it looks like. I'm going to click on this icon, click on this element here. We can see it now over in our developer tools, and we can see it has the data callout of columns. So there are no other callouts that have that data callout. So if I target this element, it will only target this element. And anytime we use the columns callout, it will give us this column layout that we're going to build. So let's go back over to our code editor, and we're going to say div data callout equals columns. And we're going to say dot callout because it has that class. And I'm actually going to say background none because I don't want there to be any background color on this callout. So saving that, we can go back over and we see that the background is no longer there. We also don't want this title bar, and in order to be able to do that, we have to hide that title. So I'm going to click on the title, and we can see it's just got a class of callout title, and I can hide that. So I'm going to copy this, paste it, and then I'm going to do this little bracket. What this does here is it says, I want you to take this element and then I want you to target the element directly beneath it. We can see here this callout title is a child of this container, and it's a direct child. It's not inside of another one. So that's what that little arrow means. We're going to target this element. I'm going to say callout title. And I'm going to say display none. And now that callout title is gone. And when we hover over the callout, we can see there's still some spacing around these elements inside of it. I want to remove that spacing. So going back to here, we're going to say padding 0. That should remove that extra spacing around it. Now we see we go all the way to the edges, but they're still a little bit above. So my guess is that there is a little bit of margin perhaps that is causing that. Let's target one of these elements here. So as you can see, there's kind of this orangey color that's indicating that there is a margin above and below this element. So I need to take off the margin that is on any of these callouts that is inside of our columns callout. So it looks like these are children of the callout content div, so we can't do this arrow because they are not directly underneath this. So we'll need to copy this, add it below, and then we are going to have to say callout content and then callout, and then margin 0. So now our callouts inside are snug all the way to the edges of our containing callout. There's a couple of different ways that you can create columns with CSS. I like to use CSS Grid. Another option is Flexbox. The reason why I like Grid is it gives me a little bit more control over how things are laid out. Now we determined that these callouts are inside of this callout content div, this class here. So that's where we need to add our grid. Copy this, put it above, and then we're going to say display grid. And then I'm going to add grid template columns. Say 1FR, 1FR. What this does is it gives me two columns, and each of those columns are going to take up an equal amount of space. So now we see we've got them side by side, and they're taking up an equal amount of space. And they're sitting pretty snugly next to each other. We want to be able to add a bit of space in between them. Just for reference, if I wanted the first column to be a certain size and I wanted this second column to be twice as big as that first column, I could put 2 there. And now this second column is taking up twice as much space as this first column. So that you can adjust the sizing of your columns in that way. I'm going to put it back to 1, and I want to add a gap in between. So we say grid gap, and we're going to make it 8 pixels. Now there's a bit of a gap in between our columns. And with just a little bit of CSS, we now have the ability to add columns into our page. we've created a custom callout that allows us to be able to do this. From here, you could make multiple of these custom callouts to have different amounts of columns in them, or some columns are wider like I showed, or some are less. It's really up to you at this point what you want to do. Now, something that we want to also do is make sure that this layout works on a mobile device. So if you're looking at it on your tablet or your smartphone, you want these to not be side by side because you have less space. You want them to be stacked. The way that we have it right now is if I shrink this window down, they're just going to keep getting smaller and smaller, and eventually they'll disappear entirely. That's not a very helpful view. So I want to be able to make it so that when it shrinks to a certain point that it stacks. To do that, we're going to use what are called media queries. I'm going to make it so that this grid templates column only appears when the window is a minimum of a certain width. So going up above, I'm going to take this and copy it. And then I'm going to say at media, and then in parentheses, I'm going to say min width. We're going to do 1000 pixels. So when the window is 1000 pixels or greater, we're going to put this in here and move our grid template columns up into there. So now back over in Obsidian, we can shrink this window down. And once it's less than 1000 pixels, it goes back to being stacked, one on top of the other. So you can adjust what size that actually happens at. So maybe 1000 might be a little bit too big. So we can go over here and I can say maybe I want it to be when it's below 600 pixels. Now going back, we can shrink, 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 shrink. It's getting a little tight, but now that it's less than 600, it stacks. So maybe we want to do it a little bit bigger, maybe 700 or so. Let's do 750. So you can adjust that however you want and make it so that those columns then stack when they are on a smaller screen. So if you're wanting to learn more CSS so that you can manipulate your Obsidian Vault to your heart's content, there's a lot of great free resources online. Just type in CSS tutorial and you'll probably find all sorts of things. And don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Brilliant, if you're wanting to dive even deeper into programming and development. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to see how I originally built this dashboard, you can check out this video next.